Imagine a temple where gold isn't just decoration, it's the very foundation of its existence, a place so sacred, so incredibly opulent, that its discovery could rewrite the financial history of the world. Welcome to the Sree Padmanabhaswamy Temple in Thiruvananthapuram, India. For centuries, this colossal structure has stood as a monument to devotion, its towering gopuram reaching toward the heavens. It is the heart of a pilgrimage and a masterpiece of Dravidian architecture, built upon layers of history that stretch back thousands of years. But its true story, the one that grips me personally, lies not in the sunlight, but deep beneath the marble floors. Beneath the temple, preserved by the silence of the earth and the reverence of the royal family who guard it, lies 6 primary subterranean chambers. These are not mere storage rooms, they are legendary vaults of unimaginable wealth. In a massive operation sanctioned by India's Supreme Court, 5 of those chambers were opened, and what they revealed was absolutely breathtaking. Gold statues weighing hundreds of pounds, crowns studded with diamonds, chests overflowing with emeralds and rubies, and literally tons of historic gold coins. The official count valued the hall at over $22 billion, making this easily the richest religious institution on the planet. But there is a 6th chamber, Vault B, and this is where the real mystery begins. Unlike the others, this vault remains sealed. It is shrouded in folklore and ancient protective rituals, guarded not just by thick iron doors, but by legends passed down through generations of priests and kings. The royal family of Travancore, the hereditary custodians of the temple, believe strongly that opening Vault B would unleash a catastrophic curse. They insist there is far more than just mere wealth hidden behind those walls, perhaps an ancient force, perhaps a secret history, or perhaps something truly terrifying. The 5 opened vaults gave us riches, but what is protected with this level of fear? Now, before we dig deeper into the fear surrounding Vault B, we have to grasp the sheer, mind-bending scale of the fortune already uncovered. The sheer, mind-bending scale of the fortune already uncovered. The sight of Vault B is enough to send a chill down your spine. It is not just a door, it is a declaration. Unlike the heavy, bolted iron doors of the other 5 chambers, Vault B has no keyhole, no handle, and no hinges visible from the outside. It is a seamless slab of thick metal embossed with the chilling image of 2 giant cobras, their hoods spread wide, a clear, ancient warning. I've seen photographs, and honestly, it looks less like a vault door and more like a gateway to another dimension. Modern security experts, the best in the world, equipped with cutting-edge tools, have examined it. They confirmed what the ancient texts implied. This door cannot be picked, drilled, or broken using conventional methods. It's an engineering marvel built by minds we can barely comprehend today. The local legends whisper that the cobras aren't carvings, they are guardians, activated by spiritual energy. The folklore surrounding this barrier is intense. It is said to have been sealed not by man-made locks, but by a mystical Patala Bandhanam ritual. The only way to open it, according to the ancient Shastras, is through the precise chanting of a forgotten, incredibly powerful Garuda mantra. And here is the kicker. If the mantra is recited with even the slightest flaw, or if force is used, the consequences will be immediate and catastrophic. Think about that. In an age of laser cutters and thermal drills, the only thing stopping the world from accessing billions of dollars is a lost chant. One high court-appointed committee actually tried to approach the door with modern technology in 2011. Locksmiths and structural engineers spent days trying to find a weak point, a seam, anything. They failed completely. This wasn't incompetence. This was something far beyond their expertise. They couldn't even identify the mechanism holding it shut. The common people of Kerala believe that if they force the door, they will unleash floodwaters that will drown the city of Thiruvananthapuram, or perhaps summon the venomous curse of the serpent deities. This isn't just superstition holding the world back from the biggest treasure ever found. It's a terrifying, visceral fear rooted in thousands of years of shared belief. It raises the essential question: what kind of secret is so precious, so dangerous, that the architects deemed a lost chant to be a safer lock than titanium? And the contents of this vault? They may be even stranger than the door itself. The potential hidden contents of the sealed vault. We know what was found in the first 5 vaults: gold ropes 20 feet long, golden idols of Vishnu, thousands of diamond necklaces, and buckets of ancient coins, including some from the Roman Empire and the Napoleonic era, proving centuries of global trade. But these phenomenal treasures are supposedly just the antechamber to Vault B. The whispers about what's inside Vault B are truly fantastical, and they ignite the imagination of every treasure hunter and historian who learns this story. According to temple insiders and ancient records, Vault B holds things we can barely conceive of as wealth. Think about this. Rumors suggest a 7-foot-tall pure gold statue of Vishnu encrusted with diamonds, possibly the most expensive single artifact on Earth. Other accounts detail bushels of what looks like golden rice, small grains of precious metal meant to symbolize Endel's prosperity, and emeralds the size of ostrich eggs. Yes, you heard that right. Emeralds the size of ostrich eggs. But it's not just the sheer monetary value, it's the historical weight. Scholars believe this vault was the final, most sacred repository, shielded from even the most desperate kings during times of war or famine. It may contain ancient, priceless spiritual relics, texts, celestial maps, or even artifacts related to the worship of Padmanabhaswamy that predate all recorded history of the region. This is why the debate over opening it is so fierce. On one side, you have auditors and some government officials arguing, we need to open it. We must document, ensure, and protect the assets. If these treasures are stolen, or if a structural disaster happens, the wealth of a civilization is lost forever. They believe this is a fiduciary duty. On the other side stand the priests, the royal family, and millions of devout worshippers. They argue that this isn't an asset to be audited, it's a living, sacred entity. They believe that forcing the door will not only unleash the mythological curse, but also profane the most sacred, untouched secret of the temple. They ask, if the wealth is spiritual, can you really put a price tag on it? I have to admit, standing between a $22 billion documented fortune and the sheer mystery of Vault B, my curiosity is driven insane. If the 5 open vaults held that much, what percentage of the total is truly waiting behind the 2 cobras? Is the $22 billion estimate just the tip of the iceberg? The legal and political battle surrounding the right to open the vaults. To understand why Vault B remains shut, we have to look past the physical door and into the spiritual mechanics. The legends insist that this isn't a vault designed to be broken into, but one designed to be ceremonially accessed, and that access requires the legendary Garuda mantra. The Garuda mantra is not just a password, it's a specific sequence of potent Vedic vibrations capable of neutralizing the serpent guardians, the Nagas, that supposedly protect the chamber. The belief is so ingrained that locals maintain only a Siddha Purusha, a powerful, spiritually perfected sadhu who has achieved the highest level of ascetic mastery, could successfully perform the precise, demanding ritual. Even a breath out of place could turn the sacred chant into a lethal curse. This raises a terrifying question. Did the ancient keepers deliberately allow the knowledge of the mantra to die out? Was the ultimate protection for the vault the simple act of forgetting? If the knowledge is truly lost, then the treasure is, for all intents and purposes, locked away forever. And that, in itself, is a genius-level security system. Over the decades, there have been whispers of people claiming they know the chant. usually powerful ascetics or spiritual leaders. But every time one steps forward, they are met with overwhelming fear and resistance. What if they fail? The local folklore is saturated with frightening anecdotes about previous unauthorized attempts, resulting in everything from sudden deaths to catastrophic lightning strikes near the temple. These are not just cautionary tales, they are powerful deterrents that have solidified the public consensus: do not touch Vault B. I often wonder if the Garuda mantra isn't a literal chant at all. Could it be a metaphor? Could it be a complex, forgotten sequence of movements, or the combination to a hidden ancient mechanism that must be triggered in a specific ritualistic way? Perhaps a secret key must be placed in a certain location, only visible during a specific astrological alignment. Even if it is a metaphor, the fear it generates is real, powerful, and has proven far more effective than any steel lock. This incredible spiritual hurdle is what keeps the billions safe, but it also creates an enormous legal and cultural battleground. Because if the government wants to access the wealth, they have to face the entire religious history of India. The powerful legal drama playing out in India's Supreme Court. In 2012, the Supreme Court-appointed committee had a moment of intense anticipation. They had successfully passed the first few layers of security surrounding Vault B. Inside the antechamber, they found a heavy iron grille and then a secondary bolted door. They managed to open both. But their progress slammed to a halt at the final barrier, a window roughly the size of a manhole secured by a single unyielding metal plate. This plate, according to the official report, could not be moved. It defied all logic. The team brought in everything modern engineering had to offer. We're talking about highly specialized equipment designed to penetrate bank vaults and bunkers. They used sonic scanners to look for internal mechanisms. They used specialized instruments to try and detect seams or weaknesses in the metal. And everything failed. It's one thing for a lock to be complex. It's another for a sealed metal slab to completely resist analysis. This led to frantic speculation. Was the door simply too thick? Was it made of an unknown, extremely dense alloy? Or was the resistance something non-physical? Whispers started flying among the temple staff and the security detail. There were reports of strange, sudden equipment malfunctions exactly when the tools were pointed at the plate. One engineer allegedly reported a sharp, unexplained spike in electromagnetic interference. And then there are the chilling rumors that always accompany a story this deep. Unverified accounts of a sudden, powerful hissing sound emanating from the sealed door, followed by an immediate retreat by the technicians. Now, I'm a rational person, but when the highest level of modern technology is completely stonewalled by an ancient mystery, you have to entertain the possibility that the protection isn't solely mechanical. Is it possible the architects of this temple possessed a form of technology, perhaps acoustic or magnetic manipulation, that we've completely forgotten? Could the Garuda mantra simply be an ancient acoustic frequency required to momentarily deactivate a powerful resonant seal? The inability of drills, lasers, and expert knowledge to even scratch the surface reinforces the core argument of the believers. You can't force this door open. It stands as a monument to the failure of 21st century technology against something far, far older. And the stakes are enormous, not just in terms of wealth, but in a very real, existential way. Transition to the next block: the legal and political maneuvering between the royal family and the Indian government. Look closely at the door of Vault B, and the most arresting feature is those cobras. They aren't just decorative elements, they are the heart of the curse, the symbol of the impossible lock. In Hindu mythology, the cobra, the naga, is deeply revered. They are the symbolic guardians of treasure and hidden knowledge, often linked to the underworld, the patala. In the Padmanabhaswamy Temple, this symbolism is taken literally. The two massive carved cobras on the metal slab are interpreted by devotees as the activated, spiritual sentinels of the vault. The local belief is terrifyingly simple: cross them and suffer the consequence. I've learned that within the temple grounds, there's a deep tradition of snake worship, reflecting the belief that the temple itself stands on a site where ancient Nagas reside. This is not just old superstition, it's a living belief system. And the stories surrounding unauthorized approaches to Vault B only reinforce it. There are chilling anecdotes passed down by temple workers about sudden venomous snakes appearing in the antechamber during previous exploratory efforts, only to vanish moments later. One persistent rumor describes an incident where a committee member who was particularly aggressive about forcing the door suffered a sudden, completely inexplicable illness that led to his immediate removal from the investigation. Was it coincidence? Perhaps. But in the context of a 2,000-year-old temple guarded by serpent deities, it becomes a powerful part of the protective narrative. The cobras are the ultimate psychological deterrent. Even if you don't believe in the curse, the fear that this magnificent wealth is protected by a force beyond your comprehension makes every person hesitate. It forces the world to confront the idea that this is not a secular asset. It is a spiritual domain. But let's think about this rationally for a moment. If the cobras aren't mystical, could they conceal something else? Are they perhaps hiding critical pressure plates, secret release mechanisms, or specific indentations that require a lost artifact to unlock? The best security systems hide the mechanism in plain sight. The real question is, how long can a democracy resist the urge to open a vault containing potentially more wealth than the nation of Sudan? The global revelation of the Padmanabhaswamy Temple treasures didn't happen by accident. It happened because of a powerful legal battle over temple management and transparency. The saga exploded into public view in 2011 when the Supreme Court of India intervened. The case was initially brought forward due to allegations of mismanagement and concern over the safety of the temple's undocumented wealth. The court's decision was historic. They ordered the immediate inventory and audit of all 6 subterranean vaults. What followed was a spectacle of biblical proportions. When the inventory teams, accompanied by armed police and historians, managed to open vaults A, C, D, E, and F, the world gasped. Imagine opening a stone door and finding centuries of accumulated devotion and power. They found solid gold crowns used for ceremonial purposes, gold thrones studded with rubies and diamonds, and sacks of gemstones so numerous they couldn't be counted, only weighed. The sheer volume of historic gold coinage alone was staggering. The media attention was intense. Every newspaper on the planet ran the story. The Indian government immediately declared the temple a security hotspot, surrounding it with armed commandos. This wasn't just religious wealth anymore, this was a strategic national asset. But as the inventory continued, meticulously cataloging every ounce of gold in 5 chambers, the controversy grew thicker around the 6th, Vault B. When the inventory team presented their findings on the other 5, they requested permission to use force on the last door. The Supreme Court, hearing the passionate pleas of the royal family and the temple priests, hesitated. The risk of the curse, the immense spiritual and cultural pressure, was too great. Even the highest judicial authority in the largest democracy on earth had to pause when faced with a prophecy of doom. They issued a dramatic, highly cautious ruling. The official inventory of 5 vaults was complete, and they would proceed with extreme caution regarding Vault B. It was a compromise that satisfied no one. Those who sought transparency felt cheated. Those who revered the temple felt their spiritual warning had been ignored in favor of auditing everything else. The court had opened the floodgates of wealth, but in doing so, they had sealed the legend of Vault B even tighter. The role of the Travancore royal family as the protectors. The resistance to opening Vault B is fundamentally spiritual. It's rooted in deep, terrifying local legends of curses and swift divine retribution. The stories passed down through generations of the Travancore royal family and the temple priests act as an ironclad psychological barrier. I want you to imagine the atmosphere around that sealed door. The rest of the temple is bustling with tourists and devotees, but the antechamber to Vault B is shrouded in perpetual, expectant silence. You can almost feel the weight of centuries of warnings pressing down. The most persistent legend warns that if anyone attempts to open the vault improperly, meaning without the sacred chant, they will suffer immediate, catastrophic loss. This isn't abstract bad luck. The prophecies speak of death by venom, massive natural disasters, and the collapse of the royal dynasty itself. As I mentioned, the fear is often linked to the flooding of Thiruvananthapuram, suggesting the vault holds a powerful elemental force that, when released, will unleash chaos. Were these stories simply ingenious security protocols? Absolutely. What better way to protect wealth from invading armies or desperate locals than to convince them that the consequence of theft is the literal end of the world? It's a security system based on fear and faith, which often proves stronger than steel. However, the accounts of those who came close to the door are harder to dismiss. There are the persistent rumors that two people who had planned to approach Vault B in the early 2000s died sudden, unexpected deaths. Was it coincidence? Statistically, perhaps. But when every priest and every local citizen points to the same mysterious outcome and whispers, the curse, you begin to wonder if the spiritual power around the temple is, in fact, concentrated right there at the metal slab. This is the ultimate confrontation, rational 21st century auditing versus the deepest, oldest fears of humanity. This standoff brings us to the present day, where the fate of this colossal treasure is still undecided. The question that truly haunts historians and theologians is not how much wealth is inside Vault B, but what kind of wealth. We've established that the other 5 vaults held material riches of mind-boggling scale. But the intense protection surrounding Vault B suggests something fundamentally different. This vault may not be a safety deposit box. It might be a library or a reliquary. Many scholars suggest that inside could be the temple's most priceless spiritual assets, possibly ancient Vedic scriptures, sacred texts detailing lost religious practices, or maybe even philosophical writings that could reshape our understanding of early Indian civilization. Could it hold the secret to the temple's construction, or even the origins of the city itself? There's a compelling argument that Vault B represents not just the wealth of the Travancore kings, but the concentrated spiritual power of the deity Padmanabhaswamy. If that power is disturbed or profaned, the spiritual equilibrium of the temple, and perhaps the region, is shattered. This tension creates 2 dramatically opposing viewpoints. For the materialists, opening Vault B could unleash hundreds of billions of dollars into the economy, potentially funding enormous welfare or infrastructure projects in India. It could be a treasure meant for the benefit of all humanity. But for the spiritual devotees, the vault is a metaphor. The wealth is accessible only to those with the necessary spiritual maturity, the ability to correctly recite the Garuda mantra. Forcing the door is akin to stealing sacred knowledge. It's an act of spiritual violence. They believe that true wealth is the knowledge contained within, and that knowledge is priceless. The choice, therefore, is existential. Does modern society privilege material inventory over ancient spiritual warning? The conclusion and the final open question. Today, the door to Vault B remains closed. It stands deep beneath the Sree Padmanabhaswamy Temple, a massive slab of silent metal adorned with those terrifying cobra guardians. It is untouched, unbent, and utterly magnificent in its refusal to yield. It has resisted the Supreme Court, defied the best technology on Earth, and swallowed the curiosity of generations. It is more than a treasure vault now. It is a profound testament to the power of ancient belief and the limits of modern knowledge. When I think about Vault B, I don't just see gold, I see a challenge. It challenges our hubris, the 21st century idea that every secret can be unlocked, every treasure must be audited, and every myth must be debunked. The silence of that door forces us to confront our own humility. Perhaps some mysteries are truly sacred, and some questions are best left unanswered. Maybe the greatest treasure held within Vault B is the mystery itself, a living legend that preserves the spiritual essence of the temple against the relentless encroachment of the material world. Should we risk a catastrophic curse for more gold? Or should we honor the thousands of years of faith that sealed it in the first place? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Would you dare to open Vault B? If you enjoyed diving into this ancient mystery, please hit that like button and subscribe. We have so many more secrets to uncover together. Until next time, stay curious.